So I've got a bunch of new names for the giveaway. I think we might have to move this into a bigger box now. I'm going to cut these up, and in about a minute we're going to find out who's won the BB preamp. Today we've got a pretty epic showdown between this really interesting pedal, something that could potentially go onto my board or any of yours if you love the Klon Centaur sound and you like the Marshall Bluesbreaker sound. So I've found this pedal from Ceriatone, who make a great Klon clone. A lot of people consider it to be the best one. Today we're going to compare that to the Ryra clone and the Mythos Mjolnir, both also great Klon pedals. This one has the horse, the centaur, on the left hand side. In the background you can see I've also got the Ceriatone Klon Centaur pedal, and we're going to make sure that the horse on this black pedal is the same as the actual sort of clone pedal. Compare it to the Ryra, compare it to the Mjolnir. Then we're going to compare the right hand side, the Bluesbreaker. Just to butt in here, as you might have noticed, this episode is called part 1. I've decided to do the Klon part of the HorseBreaker pedal in this video, and then we're going to deal with the Bluesbreaker half compared to other Bluesbreakers, as I'm about to mention here, in the next part of the video, which will be out in a few days. It was just better, I thought, to split the video in half, make it clearer which is being compared, and just keep it shorter, because you know we've all got short attention spans these days. Right, let's get back to it. To the left hand side of both the protein pedal and of the dualist pedal. So this is going to be a comprehensive sort of comparison. But here's the thing, I'm about to do the giveaway of this BB preamp. I have been working on giving this away for a long time now, a few months, and we finally hit 2,500 subs. So right now I'm about to pull the name out of the hat. I've just put a load of new names in, and I just want to make sure that some of the old names are also mixed in well. So yeah, as I've said before, this is going to go anywhere in the world, so whoever gets this, it will fly off to them. And then I'm going to tell you about the next giveaway. Okay, I'm going to pick a name out. Just turning these round, mixing them up. Okay, we've got something here. Feels like a long one. There we go. Rodrigo D. Don't know who you are, of course, but congratulations, you've won the BB preamp. It's a fresh one in the box. Let's just open it up. Received this from Anderson's a while back. There you go. So I need you to email me, Rodrigo, to the email address that I'll put in the description box below, and let me know your details. We'll have a chat. I'll send this off as soon as I can. But yeah, well done. We can now move on to the next giveaway. And that's part of this video because I'm going to be giving away this HorseBreaker pedal. So I'm really excited about that. I've had a little chance to play with it. It's a fantastic pedal, and it really incorporates two of the most usable and useful types of overdrive, the Klon clone and the Bluesbreaker. So let's go and have a little play, see how it compares to the others, and then I'll give you details about how to win it nearer the end of the video. Today we're using the 2-Rock Bloomfield drive. I've got it set to its 50 watt setting instead of 100 watt, just to give it a little bit more compression, and so it overdrives a little bit more easily. We're in the lead channel today. It's on just, I'd say it's on the edge of breakup, maybe just beyond the edge of breakup. We've got the presence set to a reasonably high level, and the gain has kicked in, and we're going to be using, to start with, this lovely Marcus King ES345. If I change the amp settings to go cleaner, for example, so we can see the boost of the pedal, I'll show you what the settings are. I think they sound pretty similar, but just to make sure, I'm going to do two different settings. One is a sort of clean boost with the gain set low and the level set pretty high. And then the other one will be a much higher gain setting. Now, I remember watching a JHS pedals video, and that guy is obviously very knowledgeable about pedals, and he said people aren't really aware, but the actual secret source of the Centaur pedal doesn't really kick in until you have the gain pretty high. You're not actually hitting it hard enough to use the unique sort of transistors, I guess, that are in there. So we'll do that. We'll do a clean boost and we'll do a much higher gain setting. See what it sounds like. So I'm just showing you here that I have decreased the gain slightly since the first setting, decreased the presence, and decreased the mids and slightly increased the treble. I just wanted to decrease the gain a little bit, mainly so that it's not just a wall of sound, that we actually get some of the nuances. So the two pedals, the horse side of the HorseBreaker and the Centura, are incredibly similar. I do believe they're intended to be exactly the same. Now, the value of the actual pots can change. There will be tolerances. I've got to say, I actually slightly enjoy playing with this HorseBreaker pedal than the Centura. It's a little bit less brittle, a little bit nicer to play with, just a bit more dynamic under the fingers. I don't know why. I've tried quite a few settings to try and balance them and just always ended up preferring the breaker. So you'd be happy to know that's the one I'm giving away. But they're incredibly similar sounding. You might find the Centura a tiny bit brighter. I've turned down the treble and tried to match them. You can match them. It's quite fiddly. So, this is just an exercise to show you that they're the same, and so that for the rest of the video, I can use the breaker side of the pedal and it's as good as the Centura, at least as good at it, as I'm saying, if not slightly better. Okay, now we're going to compare the HorseBreaker to the Ryra clone pedal and the Mythos Mjolnir. I'm just intrigued to see if they sound exactly the same. These are three of the top clone pedals, and I do know from, doing some research that people think mostly these are real just replicas of the original. So you would expect them to be very similar. Let's do it first on a sort of lower gain setting and see what it sounds like. So I did some basic chords first and then did the sort of 3 main bits. They're incredibly similar. I've been playing around with them for about half an hour between the 3, just matching them up. I've noticed now that the Ryra's treble dial was a tiny bit higher up than the other 2, and that might account for the fact that it does sound a little bit more trebly. But overall, they're all 3 of them fantastic pedals. I would put any of them on my board as a clone. But weirdly, in this particular case that I've just done, I would probably be picking between the HorseBreaker and the Mythos Mjolnir as my favourite of these 3. Whereas normally I've really enjoyed the Ryra the most, but I've never really put them all on the board in such a way like this to compare. There's just a bit more give and a bit more hair on the Breaker and the Mjolnir, and the Ryra is a bit more focused. When we do the higher gain test in a second, we'll see if that's the same case as you dial it up. Okay, slight confession time. I actually spent ages dialing in those tones, even using my decibel meter to make sure that all the levels went to the same point, which was actually 101 decibels. I then tweaked with the gain and the tone to try and achieve very similar tones. I then moved on and I changed all the dials to do something else without recording the little B-roll clips. So you'll have to excuse me on this one for this one time. Those are basically for illustrative purposes. They're as near as I can remember. They're just not exactly where the dials were. But it was actually pretty easy to get the similar sound out of each one, that roughly the dials go in the same place, and then it's quite small tweaks to really get them all sounding pretty similar. Again, I found the Ryra to be a bit more focused and less likely to sort of get the furry edges that I quite enjoy out of my overdrive pedals. So I find the Ryra, just today, some days I might really want that. It depends on the music you're creating, and that's the decision you make for yourself. The horse pedal is phenomenal. I think it's probably my favorite one. And the Mjolnir is great. It's very similar to the horse, so ultimately you could choose between them. What I want to do now, the last bit with this clone type pedal for this part of the series, is use it the way that a lot of people use it, and that's basically as a clean boost. So I'm going to turn the gain really far back and just boost to try and get that edge of breakup sound. Okay, so there were a few different points I wanted to cover today. Is the horse side of the HorseBreaker pedal from Ceriatone the same as the Ceriatone Centaur, which costs £20 more at £239 in the UK, whereas the HorseBreaker with two sides costs £219. I guess there's a premium that they've decided to charge for the Centaur, or Centura I should call it, being that it looks like the Klon clone, and that's, you know, one of the most popular pedals or popular types of pedals around, and obviously the original Centaur goes for so much money. But from my point of view, I believe they're marketing them as the same thing, and they sound very similar. There's just a natural variance perhaps between handmade pedals, but the HorseBreaker, or the horse side of the HorseBreaker, is phenomenal. That moves on to the next point, is how good is this HorseBreaker compared to other Klon clone pedals? Well, I've got two other Klon clone pedals as we've been watching, and this is my favorite one, this HorseBreaker, and I prefer it to the Centura that I've got. The HorseBreaker is phenomenal. It's the best Klon clone I've used. So I think it's a really good giveaway pedal. I'm not making it sound better than it is because I'm giving it away. Like, really I feel like I should keep this one and give away the Centura. I'll tell you what, if enough people ask me in the comments that they'd prefer if I gave away the Centura because it looks like a Klon clone over the HorseBreaker, let me know, and maybe I'll swap this HorseBreaker for the Centura. I'll go by your vote. Maybe I'll put a poll on my community page after this video has come out. So make some comments down there, let me know what you think. Let me know how you think it compared to the Mjolnir and the Ryra. If I was keeping the HorseBreaker and not giving it away, and maybe I will if you want the Centura, then yeah, it would go on my board over those other two at the moment. So I really, really think it's fantastic. Right, in the next part, we're going to deal with the Bluesbreaker side of it, which, if you've been following my channel, the blue side of the protein pedal, which is a Bluesbreaker, is just the most phenomenal thing I've ever played. Probably my favorite pedal. So I'm really intrigued. I haven't actually spent any time yet comparing the two, like off camera. So I've got no idea what's going to happen in that part. I'm going to record it tomorrow. It'll be out in a few days. So I think that's quite exciting to see what happens with that. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, please give the video a thumbs up. And oh, how do you enter this giveaway? Well, let's get past the comment section of this one and I'll see what happens. But generally, my giveaways at the moment are you need to subscribe publicly to the channel. Go into your settings on YouTube, and I believe it's under privacy or security. You can change your settings to public. That's the only way I know that you have subscribed. And then comment on a video from this one onwards. And we're going to go to 3,500 subs. At that point, I'll pick a winner like I did at the beginning of this video, and one of you will win this pedal or the Centura based on what you guys want. All right, see you next time.